Welcome everyone to our webinar on healing before the holidays or heal before the holidays. And this is a kind of a 2.0 introduction here because we had a lot of issues when we originally recorded this. And so I wanted to be able to make sure that my greeting was on the record, and also just to share some thoughts about why the Fulton Sheen Institute is hosting a webinar like this. Because as you've known since the beginning, we've had an emphasis on some key themes of Fulton Sheen. One is the importance of knowing our times. Sheen says we're living in the days of the apocalypse, the last days of our era. That was 80 years ago. So we're on the verge of something that's ending and something that's coming, and every single one of us feels that. Every single one of us. And if you didn't, then you weren't around for the last 8 months. And not only that, this just came out, but I guess I got it today, an open letter from Archbishop Vigano, who was the previous papal nuncio to the United States during the Barack Obama presidency years. And this letter, it feels like something that I wrote 15 years ago. And I'm not trying to do something like brag or anything like that, but the kinds of things that he was talking about in this letter that is in front of us today has been building up for so long. And basically the essence of this letter is an open letter to the President Trump. And it's we are at war, and we are at the final hour of that war. And this war has been going on for many years. But this war, which has this, as to use the words of Fulton Sheen, the mystical body of Antichrist against the mystical body of Christ. It's been slowly building up, and the agenda of that mystical body of Antichrist is total enslavement. Jesus came what? He says, "I came to make you free." He says, "I came to give you life and to give you life abundantly." John 10, verse 10. And right before that verse, though, Jesus talks about those who are robbers and murderers. They want to take that away from us. And the devil hates all aspects of humanity. And he's been building up this stage and looking for the right crisis to enter in. And the crisis that he has used, is the whole COVID thing that we're in right now. A health crisis, just as Archbishop Vigano put it. I'm just going to quote what he says here because this is so important. He talks about how, first off, the church has been silent on all of these issues for too long, and now we are where we are. And then we kind of act surprised. We kind of have failed in our duty to speak out against these things. And he talks about the suicide of Western culture and its Christian soul. While the fundamental rights of citizens and believers are denied in the name of a health emergency that is revealing itself more and more fully as instrumental to the establishment of an inhuman, faceless tyranny. And the name of that inhuman, faceless tyranny is what we're hearing now, is this Great Reset. And this is a big deal. Now, the webinar is not all about what the Great Reset is. That's really out there to take away all of our freedoms. And that is the agenda. And that's why Archbishop Vigano wrote this letter to the president saying, you're like the last bastion, the last thing between this agenda being successful and giving the free world of the West a chance to fight it and liberate us from it. Well, like you said, it's a health emergency that's been used, and it's been a health emergency that has now imprisoned pretty much the world for a whole, through all these lockdowns. Just even today, I was looking at some headlines before this webinar started, and it was talking about how England, the UK, is going into a full lockdown again. That lockdown is just destroying families. It's destroying especially people's health, because the worst thing you can possibly do is what? Be inside, be away from the sun, not having vitamin D, not having access to the things you want, not having access to a social life. Even studies have talked about a social life has a big impact on a person's health and happiness. So you can see how the devil is attacking these things, making us less and less human. The whole masking thing. I mean, there's a war over this. There are people who are being arrested just by not wearing a mask in America. So the health crisis is a real crisis, not just because it's taking away our freedoms. It's just because by controlling our health, they can control everything. And that's what's coming. Health passports, all these things, forced inoculations they're talking about. This is not a joke. This is not the agenda of our president, but this is what is knocking out the door. And he's fighting this game against it to try to, almost anticipate it. But no government, no president, nobody is actually going to take control of your own health like you can. And that's what has inspired from the beginning having this dimension of the Fulton Sheen Institute that focuses on health. I call it Fulton Sheen. It was Fulton Sheen Health and Institute Health, and now it's just Fulton Sheen Institute Life, because Christ wants us to have life to the full. And so that's why we've been partnering with Aroma Rosary and the not just the beautiful rosaries that are made, but also because the health dimension of Aroma Rosary is one that is transforming lives. It's something that has transformed my family now for 10 years. And as more and more families are concerned about our future, our immediate future, what's going to happen after 4 or 5 days from now. We've seen supply chains completely cut off. We've seen access to just the outside world being cut off because you're declared by some person, some entity out there as being essential or non-essential. Well, I think your health is essential, a good health. And the last thing we want to be faced with is being in a situation where you're forced to stay inside, you're forced from anything that you need, and you can't even take care of your own health. So as we look now, it's crazy in the midst of all this, we're also so close to Advent and then Christmas. I mean, this is right around the corner. So in the midst of this darkness, looking at all that's been building up, as we get to Christmas, we experience the paradox of everything. As the days become darker and darker physically, then we welcome right after the light of Christ who's born. Isn't that awesome? So the Fulton Sheen Institute wants you to have that abundant life. The Fulton Sheen Institute, in the spirit of Fulton Sheen, wants you to know the truth about God, the truth about man, what it means to be fully human, and the truth about creation. And our health, a word that means to be whole, so you can see the relation between wholeness, and holiness. Christ wants us to be whole. Fulton Sheen wanted everyone to be whole. That's why everything he did was reaching out to the missions and the poor, making sure that they not only had Christ, but they had hospitals, they had ways to actually live a life where they're happy. We have to take up our cross daily, but Christ doesn't want us to. He didn't come to give us a life of misery. Very, very different. And so this dimension of life and health for the Fulton Sheen Institute is very important, because it's very hard to have mental fitness and spiritual fitness if physically we're a mess. I know as an academic, as an intellectual, as a teacher and a speaker, that unless I have clarity of thought, unless I'm feeling good, literally in my health, it is extremely hard for me to use my mind the way I need to lead my family the way it needs to be led, to make decisions, and just to have a life that brings peace to those around me. So this is a very timely webinar, as my wife Chantal is going to lead you into this. I like to call it a challenge, because anytime you're doing something with your health these days, it always feels like an uphill battle. So that's a challenge. There's your spiritual challenge. And she's going to present really a whole picture of how you can heal before the holidays, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand the reins over to her, and she's going to walk you through it. She's going to give you all the details you need to be able to get what you need, and because the holidays are coming up, and we're going to need things for it, and there's going to be some timeliness to all this. I'm going to ask you right now just to be ready to act quickly. I'm going to be doing it. I'm not going to promote something I'm not going to be involved with. When I've gone through this kind of physical and spiritual reset, it's been life-changing, and it's time for me to do it again. So you could say there may be some good selfish motives behind that too, But I encourage you, listen carefully to what she's saying. Take the beauty of the tradition and the scriptures that is behind all of this, and then be ready to make that decision and spread this to your friends. So without rambling on anymore, I'm going to hand this off to my beautiful wife, and she'll take you through it.
All right. Well, thank you, Peter. It's a joy to be with you all, and I'm excited to share with you this evening about this special program that I've put together, and even more so, I want you to understand the mindset behind it. I know sometimes it feels like a stretch to go from Fulton Sheen to gut health, but I do really strongly feel that there is a significant need here, and I think it's exciting to be able to bring this to you because too often the secular solutions just are that, secular. So at least we have people of faith helping to pioneer new ventures here and offer you new solutions in a way that is comfortable to you in the space of your faith, as well as effective, right? Has to be effective. It's only good if it's effective. So let's go ahead and dive in here. So as Peter introduced, this is Heal Before the Holidays. The idea that the new year begins with Advent, and therefore we're actually going to begin our new year resolutions, our new turning over of a new leaf, here at the outset of the holy season of Advent, and really championing this effort before Christmas comes, before the guilt sets in, the crazy sets in. We've overspent, overeaten, been too busy, right? And we end up coming through Christmas feeling a lot of heaviness of heart, not to mention of hips, right? So the point here is that we can do something beforehand. And when I talk about this, I like to refer to it as Heal Before the Holidays, a metabolic reset. Our metabolism is central to the production of energy and life and immunity and everything that encompasses our well-being. So we really want to focus in on the core foundational pieces that are going to make us function more optimally. So without going too deep into that yet, I just want to introduce myself to some of you. And my name is Chantal Howard. I am a certified essential oil health coach. And here I am ready to dive in with you this evening. So let's go. So I want to give you enough details here at the outset that you understand that this is going to be a program that actually launches on November 15th, from November 15th through December 13th. So it's 4 weeks together. And in the course of that time, I'm going to be providing you a plan for nutrition, for wellness, for some spiritual prompts, basically for journal and for prayer and for coming together as a family, building culture in your home. We're also going to be really focusing on the restoration of your gut and rebuilding and supporting you with optimal nutrients, as well as some amazing essential oil components that I think, while not standalone or enough, together with this lifestyle component are really going to be game changers for you. So that's kind of the very quick overview. Before we dive into the whole mindset piece and the foundation, I just wanted to give you that piece so that you could keep that in the back of your mind and know that that's where we're headed. We're headed to the completion of tonight by inviting you to an opportunity to join us in a month of wonderful community as well as wellness support.
Suffice it to say, I want to invite you to consider walking with me for a month. And we're going to dive into the why and the what, but this month is really about healing before the holidays. And the reason I chose that name is because the new year really begins with Advent. And for us Catholics especially, we often kind of overlook the church new year, and we tumble through the holiday season, Christmas, go through Advent. We end up at the new year, and we kind of are on this secular path of like, okay, well now we'll make over our bodies and we'll move into diet and we'll try to, overcome all of the deficiencies that we built up over the course of being too busy and exhausted and eating totally unhealthfully. And we end up kind of exhausted by the time we actually get to January. I think that the Lord intended, and the church intends, for the new year to begin with this time of preparation and celebration, so that as we move out of Christmas and back into the ordinary times, we have had really just a great launch pad of grace and momentum into the rest of the year. So I'd like you to just stay with me to the end. I'm going to give you a special PDF guide that's based on what we're going to be doing. And I have another special gift for you as well. As Peter mentioned, turn off all the distractions. And the distractions, I think, are the ones that I'm honestly preaching to myself here, is not just the distractions for tonight, but truly just surrender all of the anxieties and the struggle that you might be undergoing as you come to this. I don't think there's any coincidence, despite my mistake. I know that the nine people that are on the webinar tonight right now watching this live are the 9 that are supposed to be here watching it live. And I have to accept that for whatever reason that that hindrance was put in place, and maybe it was just so that we could have the intimacy of the evening together. So you're meant to be here, and I'm excited because I want to show you how we can change our mindset, really obliterate the limiting beliefs that we encompass, especially, like Peter said, with so much fear, so much anxiety. There's a sense of even like one of my kids said, will it ever go back the way it was? And, we've begun to kind of build up our own limiting beliefs, not only around COVID, but in general. This is a challenge. Every single one of us has to do battle with the conversation between our ears. And I want to teach you how to enrich your prayer life and your food life and get you moving. And in my opinion, it all really starts with a well-oiled plan. And of course, that's a play on the essential oils. But when you pair essential oil nutritive complexes with prayer and purposeful food and simple movement, I truly believe that we have a winning combination that's going to really supercharge our health journey, our healing journey. But healing isn't just physical. And that's the piece that maybe many of you have been frustrated with in the past. Maybe you're suffering, you're hurting, you're overweight, you're anxious, you're alone, and you're tired of the secular solutions. Maybe you have already fallen in love with essential oils and you're kind of like, oh, wow, a Catholic light on that? The Fulton Sheen Institute, that's kind of intriguing. And maybe you just really want a systemized plan for healing and health and food freedom that really encompasses those natural solutions. Or maybe you're here because the natural solution revolution is something you feel passionate about. There are many people who are looking for answers right now, and maybe you want to be a part of being a solution to others. The reality is that we do very much need to be beacons of light in this space more than ever. It's a space of evangelization. It's a space of outreach. And it's even a space where families are finding the grace of a financial return into their homes as they share. And that's a total segue. But just so you know, maybe that's why you're here. Maybe you want to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it and how you can be involved. So whatever your motivation, of course, I'm just grateful that you've taken the time to dive in with us tonight. And I want to give you a glimpse into what we can do together. Fast forwarding through these little highlights, it's fun to just see Peter and I there with the Holy Father. We've been married now for almost 18 years. At one point, I was a highly decorated athlete. I've been an entrepreneur for most of my life, spent over 15 years in family ministry. And like I said, dedicated the last 10 years or so to natural solution education. And I'm the designer of Aroma Rosary. If you haven't checked that out, I encourage you to do so. That's one of the big sources of support for the Fulton Sheen Institute, so that Peter can do the work that he does. These things are critical, that I get to do the things that I do to kind of help balance it out and be a part of the support in the home. So there's part of our crew. Our latest little baby actually isn't shown here. She's 2 months old. She's just precious. So got all of them lined up there. So can you imagine what it would feel like if you were living fully God's abundant life in your body this Christmas? I want you to take a minute and just, what would that look like? Go ahead and put something in the chat box. What would it feel like if you were living God's abundant life in your body this Christmas? Would it be self-control? Would it be prayerful? Would it be pain-free? Would it be peaceful? What are the things that you would feel in your body, especially with regards to the abundant life that God wants for you this Christmas? I want to share with you a couple of principles. Peaceful, I like that. I see Gabrielle's jumped in there. Thank you. I want to share a couple of principles with you that really lay the foundation as to why this is important. And the first one is that God made this world and you on purpose and out of love. Our inherent meaning comes from him. And these are really theology of the body principles. So if you're familiar with the theology of the body, I know many of you have come to us through that vehicle. This is foundational, and we have to understand these principles in order to make sense of why we would ever want to spend money investing in our bodies, especially in this crazy world in which we're living. But God made us, and our humanity is in his image and likeness. And that really is so critical, because it means that not only is he a communion of persons, but it means that we're to be in communion with him and with others. And the way in which that happens is through our bodies. After all, he made us, we're a body-soul composite. You are your body. And if our bodies are, in fact, from God with his image stamped into them, then what we do with our bodies matters. It expresses that invisible, beautiful dynamism between the love of the Father and the Son. And of course, that means then that what we do and put into our bodies matters as well. Of course, Jesus reveals the inmost secret of the fact that God created us for love. And that means that you have to love yourself first. And a priest friend of mine wrote really beautifully about it the other day. And he just simply put it, we love God, we love ourselves for others. And when you have that portal, that view, then taking care of yourself, taking care and nurturing your body makes absolute sense. In fact, it's more in the line of, it's a sin not to, right? Let's just put it out there, right? A lot of times we think, well, of course, self-indulgence, vanity, that's another end of the spectrum.
Thank you, Sarah. Such a pleasure and honor to be with you.
Yes, thank you so much for your time. And we're going to be talking about some really cool things. We're going to talk about charting, fertility. Like when I heard.
Okay, looks like we've got, hopefully that's better. Got a bunch of things going on here. There we go. Oh, now I've got that in front of my screen. Darn. Okay. All right, back at it. So, yes, the truth is that even though God created us for love, we experience our brokenness, we experience sin, we experience the rupture, and we know that Jesus is here to untwist what has been twisted. So it is this Christmas, my hope, that we can embrace this truth, that it is a beautiful gift that God can love others through us, and therefore we matter. We have to make sure we're nurturing ourselves. That really leads us to why the natural lifestyle. And I think it goes back fundamentally to the fact that God knows what's best for us. He created us, and he's provided for us. He's provided in nature so many efficacious means for helping us to pursue wholeness. That wholeness that we lost in the garden, but that he wants to restore to us in eternity. And that the pathway, eternity begins now. We have to begin to participate with him in the redemption of our bodies. And that means discipline and virtue, the use of natural remedies, and authentic self-care. And I think that's really the critical piece that for most of us Catholic moms, we struggle with. We do. We struggle to not just treat our bodies like mules that are really good at bearing babies and nursing and doing all the grunt work. And yet we turn around and we're in our early 30s, 40s, 50s, and we're exhausted. We're spent. Our adrenals are shot. Our hormones are out of whack. We're overweight. We're fatigued. And I don't know about you, but that sounds like a pretty good recipe. If I were the enemy, if I could just keep people distracted by keeping them unhealthy, of course, they're not going to be as capable to do the bigger fight, right? To participate in the bigger battles that are requiring us to be agile and capable. Now, of course, God is the author of healing, and there are times where we suffer, and there are a lot of things that we legitimately have to bear. But we're talking tonight about the things that we actually can impact, and that's lifestyle. And we can begin to affect our lifestyles primarily through what we eat and what we do for natural wellness. So here we go back to St. Clement of Alexandria in the 2nd century of the church. He says, God hath permitted the production of oil for the mitigation of men's pains. Ointment is to be employed as a medicine and help in order to bring up strength when enfeebled, against sinus congestion, colds, fatigue, and depression. As the comic poet says, the nostrils are anointed, it being a most essential thing for health, to fill the brain with good odors. I loved this quote when I came upon it because it just sums up the whole point of utilizing these powerful natural compounds as even in an aromatic fashion. And we're going to talk about why we want to look at essential oils as a foundation. They're not the be all end all, but they're biblical. They're tied to Catholic tradition, to the tradition of anointing. They're very incarnational. They help us to recognize and move towards that that imitation of Christ. We're supposed to be the aroma of Christ to others. It's really beautiful. And at the same time, essential oils are really a part of the answer that is combating the enemy's plan of big pharma and the new age. These are the two extremes that we find ourselves having to deal with all the time, as if there's only those two solutions. The idea of being on, a lineup of medications that have a cascading negative effect. And again, we're talking about lifestyle aspects. We're not talking about extreme situations. We're talking about the things that can be impacted by lifestyle. And statistically, up to 70% of health can be addressed through lifestyle. And lifestyle diseases are the biggest killers today. So there's a lot we can impact here. But we also don't want to swing over into the other extreme and find ourselves in witchcraft and in all kinds of, occult practices because we just completely lost sight of the truth, right? The truth is that essential oils have an impact on our body's physiology, on our emotions, on our ability to focus on the things that are right. And they're a springboard into better nutrition and more natural means of caring for ourselves through movement and through rest management, detoxification, and so forth. And I love that they offer us an opportunity to teach and share and serve others. So just to give you a little bit of the 101 on why essential oils and what they are, essential oils are natural plant extracts distilled for steam benefits or for medicinal benefits, steam distilled for medicinal benefits. They've been around ever since the early Egyptians, right? We have tons of records, historical records of plant-based medicine. And essential oils, of course, have matured in the way in which they've been produced so that today they're actually being clinically tested under the guidelines of pharmacology. And these types of things are very important. Tonight, we're going to be talking about doTERRA. doTERRA essential oils really offer the purest oils. I want to just put it out there. This is a choice that I have made after 10 years in the field. Many people ask me, well, what about other oils, or even in particular, the other company? There's another large essential oil company that perhaps you're familiar with. And just to be very frank, I've tried everything. I've actually been in that other side, and I have a lot of very intense passion around why I've chosen doTERRA, primarily because of their integrity-based model and the fact that their essential oils have delivered completely time and time again. They're absolutely the purest essential oils that I've experienced in my journey. Again, from no experience into essential oils you could buy at a gift store or a health food store, into other types of larger brands. And here I am, and I'm very comfortable and very proud to be recommending to you the doTERRA oils. Suffice it to say, they can be used for aesthetic purposes, emotional well-being, physical, mental health, and different protocols can be used in combination to fortify many different body systems. I encourage you to go to sourcetoyou.com if you're intrigued more about how oils are being produced, the ethical nature around the humanitarian work, and so many other aspects. Essential oils, it's a big deal. So it's exciting that we have a company with the kind of integrity that I believe is possible for us to use. So sourcetoyou.com. I'm going to throw that in the chat for you. So why are they effective? This is all, I think this is probably what you're all curious about, right? Is everything comes down to the cellular level. Disease and wellness is determined at that fundamental level. And essential oils thankfully, because they're plant-based and because the way that they're so delicately distilled, the molecular structure is small. They're lipophilic, which means they're attracted to fat. Therefore, they can penetrate the cell membrane and they can impact the cell, both in its metabolic functions, as well as if there's a threat, a viral threat, or a bacterial threat. This is some powerful potential. And that's why we love our essential oils, is because very few things, believe it or not, can actually impact that cellular conversation. That's why we have, these massive, billions and billions of dollars being poured out to try and address things like vaccinations. It's the study and the science of cellular health that is the hinge around everything that we're talking about. And the fact that God has provided something naturally that can impact our body's physiology without overriding its systems completely. It's really about informing the body how to function. Hello, Mr. Cell, get back in line, right? You're out of whack, come back into line. Or maybe you are malignant, let's kill you off, right? This is where the conversation has to be, and why essential oils are very, very important. The other thing that's really important to understand is just simply how they function through the olfactory nerve. This is more traditional aromatherapy, but nonetheless, it's powerful because we can impact the limbic brain, which impacts memory and hormones, emotions, and a whole cascade of other body functions. And when we look at the number one thing that's really impacting people right now, believe it or not, it's not COVID, right? It's anxiety. And anxiety is killing people more than anything else. And it's making our cortisol levels shoot through the roof. It's causing us to have all kinds of other physiological symptoms manifesting through our anxiety. I don't know about you, raise your hand, right? Raise your hand if you feel the tension in our world today. I mean, I don't know who. You'd probably have to, maybe a religious who's able to stay within the convent and soak up Eucharistic adoration all day. Maybe they're immune. I don't know. But I don't think many of us are. I don't think many of us are immune from the impacts of the emotional space. So I really want to emphasize how powerful a tool this is, because again, we have some direct ability to impact those functions and to help, right, bring us back, ground us back in the truth. And sometimes, the good Lord knows this, we need assistance. That's why the rosary, right? The rosary is about fingering the beads. That's why stained glass. Sometimes we need a visual cue. Sometimes we need to consume the Eucharist, right? It's not good enough that it's just a sign. It has to be physical. It's very Catholic concepts here. So back to practical, just 3 ways to use your essential oils. You can use them aromatically, topically, and internally. And using them aromatically makes sense when you breathe them in, supporting air quality, opening airways, affecting mood. Topical use, we do so with dilution of a carrier oil, something that's going to protect the skin from the caustic nature of oils, because they're very drying to the skin and they can make you kind of feel uncomfortable if you don't use dilution. So I'll teach you all about that. You can do it very safely. You don't need, this is absolutely common sense possible, right? But you use a carrier oil, you apply it to localized regions like Peter's poor ribs right now, or on the feet or the chest or the back, and we can have a systemic response that way. Or we can also use them internally. I feel very comfortable recommending to you doTERRA's oils for internal use. Not every other oil should be consumed. In fact, I would say no other oils, because of the risk of contamination, adulteration, and other things that could actually be counterproductive for your internal health. But with doTERRA, they've literally been crafted for an internal purpose. And so we're going to be using these essential oils in gel capsules under the tongue in our water to really impart the benefits of health at the digestive system and the other organs as well. So here's the foundation path that we need to follow, right? Eating right, exercising, rest and stress management, reducing our toxic load, both of physical toxins as well as the mental health toxins, the news, everything else there. And then anything above the line, informed self-care and proactive medical care, that's more of a conversation for personal coaching. and of course for conversations with your healthcare professional. But look how much we can impact. And not only that, but it's the most important part that we can impact, right? The top of the pyramid should be fairly small and not as big of a part of our life as it's become. I think we're completely inverted, right? Most of us live with the idea that medical care is health care. And that's not true, right? Health care begins with the habits at home. And the first pillar of that is nutrition. So as we move into our conversation tonight about what we're going to do on Heal Before the Holidays, this is going to be the big player, right? We have to be able to recognize how to eat, and we need community support. We need accountability. It's hard to make shifts here, but the biggest thing that I want going into Christmas is what I call food freedom, is the freedom to say no and the freedom to say yes. And when we don't know how to say no to those things that are harmful for us, are definitely either, you know, the sweets, the junk, the carbohydrates that just pack on weight. When we can't have the freedom to say no to those things, we truly are in a bondage. And so I want to talk about and help you unpack that, help you to really have a plan to free you at the level of your nutrition and change your mindset about what maybe you thought you couldn't do, right? You can do this. The other pillar is movement, and movement is a really beautiful aspect of wellness. And it's something that I think as we get older, we relegate to the younger generations, and we just kind of like, you know, if I get around to it. Or maybe you're a workout guru and you love to work out, but you need some help in terms of figuring out how this all fits into the conversation around your faith dynamic too. So we're going to be focusing on movement. Rest and stress management, as I've already spoken of quite a bit, is going to be a big pillar, and detoxing. And of course, I put the picture of our Lord there because detoxing isn't just about what we're going to do with the gut. It's going to be about letting go of all of the garbage, the weight, the baggage, the bondage that we hold on to. That's the detoxifying work that we need to pair with our gut cleansing. And we will focus on liver, kidneys, colon, right? We're going to focus on some of those pieces as well. And then of course, you're going to have an opportunity throughout to have access to me in a coaching conversation, in a community environment where you can really dive deeper into more targeted issues. Maybe it's joints, allergies, maybe it's insomnia, maybe you're dealing with fatigue. We're going to be able to have that conversation within this context and help point you to specific tools and resources to really help you dial in there. And then of course, we're going to encompass all of this in prayer. I'm going to teach you how to pray the rosary with essential oils, using specific oils to associate with each of the mysteries of the rosary so that your rosary comes alive in a way that maybe it hasn't before. We've been asked to pray the rosary every single day without fail. And my husband is, thankfully, he's really, really remarkable in making sure that we stay on that, because there are times where it's just not easy to do. It's not easy to do with kids. It's not easy to do when we're busy. And sometimes it's just not appealing. So we want to turn your rosary into something you love, something that is beautiful and enriching. And this is something that we can help do throughout our challenge together. So Heal Before the Holidays is going to encompass all of those pillars. And I want to just dive in now with just a glimpse into the products that I would expect for my group to have on board, so that when we talk about nutrition and we're looking at meals and recipes, you can incorporate the key supplements that are going to make it easier, right? Supplements alone aren't enough. Essential oils alone aren't enough. Nutrition alone isn't enough. It has to be a synergistic approach if we really want to make an impact. And so the first thing we're going to incorporate is a superfood trio called Lifelong Vitality. And this formulation of these 3 vitamin nutrient complexes is very innovative, and it incorporates your macro minerals, all your vitamins. It incorporates superfoods, things like Brussels sprouts and spinach and kale and alfalfa and all kinds of amazing things that are going to be helpful in nourishing your body, as well as the essential oils and the essential fatty acids that are going to help feed the brain and make sure that your nervous system is functioning optimally. And you're going to see an uptick in the health of your skin. And this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful foundation piece, okay? And it's going to help us with our metabolic goal. Metabolism is equally as important to immunity as just about anything else you could think of. Metabolism is about how your body processes nutrients, converts it into energy, and really produces life. I mean, this metabolic conversation is huge, and it's going to help keep your cellular health alive and functioning so that you, no matter what comes your way, you are more optimized to be able to combat that. The reason that we are seeing the success rate of, or the rate of people being able to succeed through COVID more is because we've begun to introduce conversations around vitamin D, around vitamin C, around formulas and different things that are helping people to actually fortify their natural defenses. So this is a good piece to start with. And then we're going to incorporate a blend called Slim and Sassy. And this is a fun blend of essential oils. It has peppermint and ginger, lemon, grapefruit, cinnamon, and it's going to be one that's invigorating and helpful in terms of stimulating metabolism, helping you to overcome those really hard to combat food cravings. And we're going to incorporate this for healthy weight management and immune support. Believe it or not, cinnamon, ginger, these are top immune fighting essential oils. So while this is labeled a metabolic support piece, I want you in your notes to really notate that this is a huge immune blend as well. And so it works really well in both goals. And then the crown jewel of our program is called Yarrow Palm. And yarrow is an essential oil that is incredibly helpful for multiple different body systems. It's an anti-inflammatory oil, and pairing it with pomegranate seed oil, it has provided, which pomegranate seed is a omega-5 oil, which is hard for us to consume. We don't get a lot of omega-5. And so we want to incorporate this in both morning and evening. It's going to help us with rest and regeneration, right? The rebuilding blocks. As we cleanse and as we feed, we need this support at the level of our tissues and so forth to really rebuild and renew. And this is going to impact things like collagen development and things like that. So while we're not about just pursuing some sort of vainglory, right? That's not the point. We are temples of the Holy Spirit. And I don't know about you, but I really want to take care of my temple. Can you imagine if you walked into the cathedral and it was falling apart and there were ceiling tiles falling down and things were being we deserve to care for our bodies, even exteriorly, so that we can, again, serve others more robustly and feel alive and feel closer to the Lord. It's very important. On the enhanced track, which there's going to be an opportunity for an enhanced track, we're going to incorporate these three products, the Zendocrine, Terrazyme, and PB Assist. I don't want to go into them too in depth, but suffice it to say that these are three powerhouse pieces. Zendocrine is a liver cleanse and a colon cleanse. It's going to help support all the different organs. Terrazyme is going to be an optimizer. It helps take protein and turn it into amino acids to make it more efficient for our body to build and to actually digest and use what we're consuming. And PB Assist, of course, is a probiotic. Probiotic health and restoring the gut biome is absolutely foundational for every single aspect of what we're talking about. In fact, if there was one piece alone, I would probably zone in and hone in on a probiotic. And these are really, really powerful pieces. And then we have these immunity and relief enhancers. Okay, so again, this is if you want to take on a little bit broader scope of enhancing your wellness. We have some critical oils here. Frankincense, baby Jesus's oil. It probably didn't come to him in the form of an oil, but it's fun to think of. But of course, incense, this beautiful gift of essential oils in this aroma, this aromatic compound, is a powerhouse for cellular health, especially against anti-tumoral and anti-cystic properties. I'm going to teach you all about this, okay? So we're going to dial in each one of these oils as we go. But just know frankincense and On Guard in particular, those are probably they're flying off the shelf like crazy right now because they are big immune support health pieces. So I invite you to not have a fearful attitude about this. You might be thinking, okay, what is this going to cost me? How, can I do it? Does this make sense? We're right on the cusp of election. I don't know what tomorrow holds. We need to have that be not afraid attitude, the John Paul II attitude, that John Paul II mindset, so to speak. because we have every confidence that God is in control and that he has put us here for a purpose. And that purpose is so that we can serve and we can be a light to others. And that means that there is no reason for us to say this is going to fail, or that we can't, or it's time to give up, or I'm stuck indefinitely, right? Because we have not only the tools and the training and the coaching and the community for you, but we also have the grace of the Lord behind us. That's the fuel, right? Not fear for fuel, right? But truly faith for fuel. So ask yourself what your why is, right? Why have you come tonight? Peace in your home, getting through the holidays with sanity, being able to say no, being able to shed weight, reduce pain, boost immunity, support your kids, learn something that is going to be a tool for you in the event of unforeseen circumstances. Whatever your why is, I want you to just really think then about, if I invest now, how will it be how will the long term be? If I really do embrace health solutions, what could be different? And also, what if I don't? How much is your unhealthy lifestyle costing you? And how much is it bound to cost you if you don't? I'm in the cusp of my 37th birthday, in just a couple days. And I'm starting to feel it. I thought maybe I'd stay 20 forever, but that's just not happening. 6 babies in, I'm postpartum 2 months. I'm heavier than I've ever been. I've got aches and pains like more than I've ever had. My gymnastics injuries are rearing their head. What if I don't? I first and foremost compiled this for me. I want you to know that. I said, I need to do this. So I'm going to bring everybody along with me in order to make sure I do. So I formulated this in light of what I think every mom and every individual right now could benefit from. And I hope that you will be courageous enough to step out with me. Because really, there's only 2 options. You can stay confused and unhealthy and alone and go through another Christmas cycle, another time of showing up in front of adoration going, Lord, I'm hurting, I'm frustrated, I wish I could, I'm sorry, please have mercy, right? It's so often what we do is it's like the same cycles, and we keep coming back to confession and we keep pouring ourselves out and we're like, oh, and he's kind of like, it's time for change, right? Let's make a shift. Or you can follow a path, a proven path, one for lasting impact. I have lots of experience in this space. I've worked with thousands of individuals at this point. Becky from Switzerland points out here that she loves that I have a solid theological background in light of the power of essential oils. These 2 worlds can come together. And I hope that you feel confident in that. Rebecca happens to be an Olympic athlete, and she's reached out to me for coaching on how to heal her body, who's, again, talk about a body that's been abused and been sent through the ringer of performance, and yet needing support so that she can know how to heal. And I like what she says, further her understanding of how science, nature, and my faith can combine to heal me. It's really powerful. And Allison from New York, she happens to work with thousands of people in the mental health space. And she reached out and we collaborated in this space so that she could understand essential oils, again, from that Catholic perspective, in a way that was digestible and capable for her to share with people in the mental health space. So my hope is that by the end of this, you would actually be able to have a testimonial too. Something that you could share, something that you could reach out to another hurting friend and say, I can help teach you. I can show you simple solutions that work. After all, Sirach chapter 30 says, it's better off to be poor, healthy, and fit than rich and afflicted in body. Health and fitness are better than any gold, and a robust body than countless riches. There's no wealth better than health of body, and no gladness above joy of the heart. So when you think about how much you normally spend at Christmas on yourself and others, I want you to think about just reallocating some of that budget towards your wellness. Because I guarantee you, your family deserves you whole, and you deserve to be whole. And that's a great gift. It's a gift that they will benefit from. So I don't want you to think so like, oh my gosh, I'm going to spend money on myself. I want you to think about I'm going to spend money on myself so that I have something more to give. So when you enroll with this special, I guess we'll call it a challenge. It's kind of hard to come up with words. A month together, metabolic reset is what I like to call it. You're going to have some serious support. First of all, we're going to do a weekly group coaching call. So we'll jump on Zoom. I promise I will have the passwords available to you. We're going to do that live at 12 p.m. Eastern. Of course, if you can't make it live, they will be recorded, but this will be a time and a space when you can really ask questions and you can say, here's my roadblock. I'm struggling here. What would you recommend here? And we're going to collaborate as a community. Yes, I can help specifically with my expertise, but this is also something we're going to learn from each other. So this is going to be a powerful, powerful place. Movement with me. This is kind of funny to me because I've never done anything live on Zoom with regards to fitness and movement. But again, I was a state champion gymnast, a level 9 gymnast competing nationally. Like I have stuff to share. Simple. Again, this isn't going to be crazy. I'm postpartum 2 months. This is going to be basic core strengthening, pelvic floor rehabilitation, and gentle movement, right? Again, through the lens of a faithful opportunity versus something like yoga, right? Which we often steer away from because we don't want to risk the hearts and minds of our family. And then team time is an optional gathering as well each week where you can join us for fellowship and discovering more about doTERRA and the opportunity there, how we share oils, why we share oils. That's an optional invitation as well. And then on Sundays, you're going to be welcomed into our home to pray the rosary with our family. Chanted the aroma rosary with meditations, biblical meditations. If you have friends that you want to invite to this, of course, all are welcome. It's going to be very beautiful. So I've invited even Protestant friends and they're going to be participating. And I hope that they'll come and participate in this as well and experience the rosary like they have never experienced it before. Additionally, you're going to get your PDF guide, your goal setter, tracker, and recipes so you can keep track. How much are you hydrating? What are you doing? What are your recipes? What should you be taking each day, right? And you're going to have access to a private essential oil group so that we have a space where we can really be confidential and we can share and we can collaborate together. I'm throwing in a 40% off Aroma Rosary discount code as well. Aroma Rosary, you're going to find out if you haven't already, is a beautiful space where we do handcrafted rosaries that hold the oils so that when you're smelling your oils, and I took mine off and I don't know where it went. The baby was playing with it a minute ago, but they're wraps, bracelet wraps, or traditional rosaries that hold and diffuse essential oils. So that's going to be a great way for you to go and support the ministry as well as have a huge discount there built in. And then, of course, you're going to be thrown in a great big giveaway. And, haha.
Here's my rosary.
So I don't know if you guys can see them because I've got on the screen share, but these wraps are really beautiful. And they're a full, complete rosary. They've changed the fact that I used to not have a rosary with me and it drove me crazy. Peter has pockets. I don't usually have pockets. So now I can always have my full rosary with me. And it's an aromatherapy tool because you apply the oil to it and therefore you get the benefits of your essential oils with you throughout the day, which just makes you realize like, wow, the joyful mysteries just lived with me all day, right? The sorrowful mysteries today, I'm living in the aroma of the sorrowful mysteries. Wow. It's really powerful. Okay, so that's a total value of $1,379. But of course, I'm not going to expect that of you. I'm asking $45. All right, $45 to bless me personally and my family. And then on top of that, you're responsible for buying your products. Okay, so you have $45 that comes right into our household income. Thank you, right? Not $1,300, but enough to help support us a little bit. And then you have your product kits. Your first product kit is simple, standard products that I really feel are non-negotiables to make this happen. Okay, so option 1 includes the Vitality Pack, the Slim and Sassy oil, a Slim and Sassy gum that helps with cravings, veggie capsules for being able to put the Yarrow Palm in them and the Slim and Sassy into, and then your Yarrow Palm regenerative nutrient duo. And then if you want to go ahead and follow the enhanced track, which if you notice is really just over $100 more. Okay, so for $100 more, you're not only going to get the Zendocrine, the PB Assist, the Terrazyme, the frankincense, balance, lemon, On Guard, lavender, and deep blue. Okay, so you get 9 products for $100. Okay. But you also are going to get these 4 products for free. And the reason that's happening is simply because it collided with a promotion that doTERRA was offering. So this is not me being super generous. This is doTERRA being generous, but it just so happened that this is a promo that is in play right now. So you get a full bottle of peppermint and these 3 other oils that are really geared towards emotional and digestive well-being. And I'll teach you how to use them if that's what you choose. So that would be a total of 13 products for basically $100. So it's really, in my opinion, a no-brainer that you choose the enhanced package. I'll be able to extend the life of this experience so much, keeping in mind that you're going to have a lot of these products that you'll have more than you need for just a month. Not so much in the supplements, but the oils. The oils will last. And so then you can use them with your family and your kids and so forth. So, and of course for your immunity, right? This is going to be the basis of a solid toolkit, a new medicine cabinet, if you will. So if you go ahead and act fast tonight, and the reason I'm really asking you to act fast is because with COVID, shipping delays have been just painful. And despite the fact that doTERRA is really on it, they are being, I mean, you can imagine people are just constant on this right now. So we do really need a full 15 days in lead up to our launch. November 15th is when we begin. November 15th all the way through December 13th. So basically 4 weeks together, Sunday to Sunday. And I need you to order your products right away, like as in tonight. Because every single time I go on, they're pushing the delays out. In fact, I just jumped on tonight and it was saying that products won't be arriving until the 13th or the 14th. So if you wait even till tomorrow or the next day, it'll be the 15th, the 16th, the 18th, and then you'll be off the back end. So if you act fast, I'm trying to incentivize you a little bit to make this decision because we need you to get the products on board, but you also are going to have the PDF guide that I promised, as well as I'm going to give you my Essential Oil Epiphany ebook. Okay, this flip book has been kind of like, I poured myself into this for 2 years, writing about what essential oils are, the biblical nature of essential oils. What about the new age? How do you use them? It comes with a link to at least 8 other ebooks as well in specific areas of green cleaning, immunity, health, wellness, all kinds of things. So it's very valuable. I usually sell it for $20. So this is a gift to you if you go ahead and get started tonight. So here's how you're going to do it. You're going to go to the link that Peter's going to send you, and he's going to put it in the chat box if he can do that for me. He's going to put it in the chat box as well, so you can click on it. And once that is in the chat box, then you can just click on it or in the email. Okay, he's working on it. He's grabbing it. So yeah, we'll just send you the email. That's going to be your best way to do it. Okay. So you're going to click on it. You're going to go in, you'll see this, and there's going to be a little sign me up. You put your name and your email in there, and it's going to take you to the form page where you're going to fill out your details. Okay. So here's where you're going to put your details, like your cell number. So I can catch you and give you little prompts like we're going on live or whatnot. And then it's also going to give you the links specifically to the product purchase page. And once you decide which kit you want, it'll show you a space like this. Okay. And I wanted you to notice here that, let's see. There we go. It'll say purchase now, and it'll say purchase without a kit, or it'll say purchase now. If you do it without a kit, your cost actually shoots up to retail. So I wanted to keep it at the membership level because the membership is included in this cost. Okay. And yeah, and we can talk about how you can do this. It sounds like somebody's from Canada, so we can make it happen totally from Canada too. I can maybe just get on a little conversation. Okay. So yeah, no problem. We'll make sure we get you set up. It's going to be very similar process. It's just really at the beginning of this, it'll ask you for where you're from, and it'll allow you to choose to get yours from the Canadian warehouse. So it should be fine. The one thing I'll check for you, Marianne, is whether or not that promotion is happening in Canada right now or not. I can't remember. If you're already a member, some people have joined us who already have a doTERRA account, especially those that are already within our doTERRA family. You can just push on account and this will transfer into your shopping cart. So it's super simple. You don't have to go anywhere else. Go direct from the link we give you. That keeps it tied to Aroma Rosary, thankfully, and it also makes it so that you don't have to go find the products and hope you're getting the right products. They're all there. They're all done, okay? And then you're gonna get an email from me, and that email, make sure you have chantalhoward@gmail, right? I want you to look for it, look for your spam, maybe it gets sent there initially, and that way I can be in communication with you. And then from there, we're going to have our various Zooms and launches. And lastly, make sure you join the Facebook group, okay? So number one, sign up. You'll PayPal me the $45. You'll order your products. You'll check your email. From there, you can join the Facebook group, download your free PDFs, and begin to prepare and then participate full out. That's the process. All right, take care, everybody.